You're watching Newsday TV. I'm Shari Einhorn. A witness is calling DNA techniques used in the Gilgo killings case unreliable. Rex Heuermann was in court today for the hearing and was overheard saying "good job" to his attorneys. Prosecutors are working to decide if the DNA evidence linking Heuermann to multiple victims can be used at his trial. Andrew Enger was in court today and will bring us more details in just a few minutes. Another state worker has been arrested for inappropriate conduct involving the teenage girl from Patchogue who went missing. The 15-year-old was found on a yacht in Islip after disappearing for 25 days. 57-year-old Daryl Joyner is accused of offering the girl drugs in exchange for her exposing herself to him. According to court papers, it happened last month while the teen was at a residential center for girls in Suffolk. The U.S. Department of Education is referring its investigation into the New York State mascot ban to the Department of Justice. U.S. Secretary of Education Linda McMahon says, in part, quote, both the New York Department of Education and the Board of Regents violated federal anti-discrimination law and disrespected the people of Massapequa by implementing an absurd policy. McMahon visited Massapequa High School last month. School districts have a June 30th deadline to comply with the ban or risk losing state aid. First in Newsday, the town of Hempstead is suing the Port Authority over low-flying planes. The lawsuit is asking for updated noise exposure maps for flights over Long Island into JFK Airport. Town officials say some neighborhoods, including Valley Stream, Elmont, and Floral Park, can see air traffic every 90 seconds. Now let's take a quick look at tomorrow's weather. Rain and clouds, low to mid 70s. We'll take a closer look at your 7-day forecast in just a few minutes. Back to the latest on the Gilgo killings. Rex Heuermann appeared in court for another hearing on DNA evidence. Andrew Enger has those details.
DNA evidence is a key part of the prosecution's case against Rex Heuermann, the accused Gilgo Beach serial killer. And today, inside Suffolk County Criminal Court, debate over the admissibility of that evidence continued. Rex Heuermann listened intently to testimony today at his continuing Fry hearing, which will determine if the prosecution's DNA evidence will be used at his murder trial. Today, Heuermann's attorney called Nathaniel Adams to the stand. He is a systems engineer for the defense who examined the software that a lab used to connect hairs found on some of the victims to Heuermann. Adams testified that the forensic DNA software that the lab, Astera Forensics, used was, quote, unreliable, and that validation and verification procedures were not up to software industry standards. Prosecutors had previously argued that the technology that Astera used to identify the DNA was brand new, but is valid. On cross-examination, Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney attacked Adams' qualifications, questioning his educational background and past publications. Judge Mazie could make a decision on the admissibility of that DNA evidence later on this summer. Outside Suffolk County Criminal Court in Riverhead, Andrew Enger, Newsday TV.
The hearing is expected to continue on Wednesday. You can read the latest on this story on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. Long Island representatives are criticizing Senate Republicans who want to keep state and local tax deductions capped at $10,000. Newsday's politics deputy editor David Cruz has more on the political battle.
Both the Long Island congressional representatives, both Republicans, Andrew Garbarino and Nick LaLota, and they essentially said they're going to fight this tooth and nail, mainly because a few weeks ago they had fought very hard to try and raise the cap on salt, and so they essentially said that they're not going to budge on getting the House version of the bill passed unless they know that $40,000 in salt cap remains. If the salt cap remains the same, their tax burden essentially remains the same. It's been that way for almost 8 years now, but now if, for example, the salt cap is raised, that would alleviate the financial burden for some of the Long Island families, especially if they're making a lot of money. So they are waiting with bated breath to see whether or not this budget with this salt version will go through.
The recent wave of U.S. Customs and Immigration Enforcement raids on Long Island is sowing fear and uncertainty in migrant communities. Residents say the immigration crackdown is scaring people away from shopping centers, laundromats, and workplaces.
The impact is honestly very, very worrying for our community. They are causing mass hysteria in our communities.
To combat fear and misinformation, 19-year-old Kristen Valet and fellow members of ICE Live Forward launched an ICE Tracker app in January. The advocacy group says the online tracker uses photos and videos recorded by residents who spot immigration agents trying to arrest migrants. We're told the app is designed to promote transparency around ICE operations by posting verified sightings of ICE agents.
This is a way of just informing the community of these raids. We don't advocate for confrontation. We don't advocate for people to get in the way of these raids. It's more of so people have an idea of where these agents have been and how they can keep themselves safe from any unfortunate event.
A lot of the activities that we've seen across the nation, they tend to operate under the radar, and in this way we're able to tell the community, here they are.
About 2,000 people are signed up for the ICE Tracker's push notification alerts, which are sent only after ICE Live Forward volunteers verify it is ICE or another government agency involved in immigration enforcement.
The message that we want to send is to just let people know that they are not alone, that we are actively looking out for them and actively trying to make sure that people are not in fear of their lives.
For Newsday TV, I'm Virginia Huey.
Shell, we're making tacos. Italian tacos. Over at Tony's Tacos in Garden City,
everything it's to the detail.
Owner Mike Scotto is cooking up something special.
My name is Mike Scotto. I'm the owner of Tony's Taco. I've been in the restaurant business for 20 years, and I love to see people smile when they taste my food.
For years, Scotto has been putting his spin on tacos, packing them with Italian favorites like pepperoni, pesto, and of course, lots of cheese.
And then we're gonna go with some cheese sauce.
And if you ask him why opening up a taco restaurant is worth it, he does not mince words. What makes it worth it?
Money.
I was saying, what makes it worth it to be a restaurant owner?
Money.
Money, okay.
I mean, I'm telling you the truth.
Other than the cash, Scotto says a good taco store owner has to have grit and be willing to make sacrifices.
I opened with what I had, so the restaurant business is painful because basically you work when everybody else is off. So you have to make a life choice, especially when you start it.
But just because you're working does not mean you can't also have fun.
I'm gonna feed this beautiful girl.
How is it?
Oh my God.
Even with thousands of tacos being shelled out every day and thousands of happy customers, Scotto admits maybe the taco business has its perks. Perks that money can't buy.
They eat the taco and say, that's the best thing I have had. That's the rewards that you get. If you do it just for the money to begin with, you're not gonna last.
Ken Buffa, Newsday TV.
And now let's take a closer look at your 7-day forecast. It looks like more rain on tap for Wednesday and Thursday, but looks like clearing with warm temperatures and sunny weather for the weekend.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Fire Island Ferries. Catch the latest from Newsday in high school sports when Sarah sounds off.
It's the spring season and we're warming up. Boys lacrosse, girls lacrosse, softball, baseball, track and field. Every sport, every game. and be part of the action when I take your questions. So be sure to email me, text me, hit me up on X, Instagram, make a phone call. We're going to have a great time all season long.
Sarah Sounds Off. Tuesdays at Newsday.com/Sarah.
You're watching Newsday TV. For more on all of the stories you've seen here today, head over to Newsday.com, click Get More under the Newsday TV video box. I'm Shari Einhorn. Thanks for joining us.